Hi, everybody. Hi, hi. Oh, wow. No, get out, get out. Advertising. Oh, my God. Hi, people. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Huh? Oh, yeah, ad blockers. Yeah. So, how are you? Everyone fine? Hi, Internet. How are you, Internet? I hope you are fine wherever you are. All of you together. Super good. So we are going to have today, yes, this means people connecting. We're going to have today our third class out of 14. So this is a long trip and a nice one for us. Getting access from people to vulnerabilities. Be sure that you have access to the document. I'm giving you some seconds to connect, reconnect, turn on, get your coffee or whatever you are doing here or at home or wherever you are taking this. So the one where you access where you are not invited. Okay, we need to change that one. But that's the unofficial title of the class. And we have some credits, like last time we have a little bit of new credits. And we are going to be talking about a lot of things before starting. All the links. I think here there are no changes, so you can go and check them. So we are going to start with the results from the survey of last class. Remember that the best way to tell us if something is working, not working for you on the internet here is to go to the feedback form and tell us there. So last time we have 71% of the people saying it was all right, but like 28% saying it was too fast. So that's actually too much. So this class, we are going to try to slow down a little bit, okay? And see how it goes. We are going to try. If not, you can tell me, you're speeding up again, and then I can slow down, okay? How well you could replicate what the teacher showed in your device. We have people 10, 9, 8, but probably more people in 6 and 7 than before. So yeah, the second class was a long class with many, many new topics. So this class is going to be slightly shorter. So I hope it's better for everybody. How do you like the support materials? Most of the people like them. We have many, many, many links as support material all over the document. So when you have nothing to do, you know, as a student, whatever, and they say, oh, what should I do? You go and you read the links. They are there for you. How well could you follow the teacher? And we have most of the people in 9 and 8s and 10-ish. So probably it was because of the speed. So let's gonna try fix this class. Also, a lot of people was writing in the feedback things about the outline. They would like to have an outline in the document. The official outline is this one in here. When you click, you have here all the topics of the class, and you can click and go. On purpose, we are not including an outline in the beginning of the document, but if you want an outline, this is the one we give you, okay? So that's the official one. We are going to be trying also to do more recaps and spaces between topics. One of the suggestions was like the jumping from topic to topic is too fast. So we included in this class for the first time some small recaps. There was a suggestion to do groups of students and then to do the assignments as groups. Which is funny because for 7 years or 6 years we did groups. I think groups was a good idea, and then there were groups of 2 students doing the assignments together, and started to not work very well, and then started to some students doing nothing for the whole class because the partner was doing everything, and then complaints, and then we say, okay, that's it, no more groups. So this actually is the first year that we don't do groups anymore. So sorry, it's a good suggestion, but we try. Maybe in the future we will go back to groups because I like the idea of partners and studying together, stuff like that. But kind of, it was not with the best results. If it's too fast, please be sure you tell us in the form. Explains the solutions of the assignments, also was people asking about this. If you cannot solve one of the CHVUT assignments, ask us. You have a private channel with all the teachers. Go there and you can ask, hey, I'm stuck in here. It's fine, okay? It's fine. We can give you hints. We are expecting this. If you are online with the Start of Cyber channel challenge, the best is to ask in Matrix for the people to help. They will help you there very, very fast. And if you cannot, in the GitHub of the Start of Cyber Lab, there are the how to solve each of the challenges. So try, do your best, learn, be creative, spend time. When you are completely stuck, you can go and check the solution there, okay? And at the end of the class in January, we're going to have a special class only showing how the results and where you are supposed to do, okay? Kind of a summary one. And then we have Pioneer Prizes for assignment number 2. The assignment number 2 was about, can you recap a little for me? It was scanning.
It was like two-parter. First part was scanning for services, and you had to answer some question about, thank you, open ports and stuff like that. And the other part was where you had to analyze the traffic that was coming onto your...
Oh, yeah, I remember. So there were people solving this. I don't remember the timings, if you have any timing issue. So the third place is the Opti 30S Let's Trip and goes to... Andres there already? No, me? Okay. Lukasz Novalk 39. Bravo, Lukasz. Where are you? Oh, there you go. Gratului in this official ceremony. Thank you very much for participating. The second one is actually a Raspberry Pi Zero. Very nice one. I'm not sure if you use them. Small computer. And goes to Tomasz Weselt 27. Tomasz, where are you? Oh, there you go. Congratulations, congratulations. We have it there without malware, mostly. And the first place, which is a very nice Wemos D1 Mini ASP8266 with Wi-Fi module, goes to Jans Vovo 114. Bravo, yeah. He's not coming, so no. Congratulations, thank you for playing. And yes, I actually advise you to try to be there first. The thrill of the timing and the issue is actually very nice, and you're there typing and making mistakes because you're hurrying up and people is doing stuff. So yeah, go and try. Also because I have the impression that for the exam that is going to be time-bounded, so you have a limited amount of time for the exam, it's going to be a nice experience to be like with the pressure of time in there. So go and try. And for the first time, we are going to actually open one of the extra things we have, that is the special awards for services to the school. We have this behind the scenes. We didn't want to tell you because you have to earn it, but we are awarding special awards for services to the school. If you don't know where the quote is coming from, I don't like you, and leave the room right now. So we are going to be doing our own, and this case is very special because we are awarding 2 special awards, which is very weird. Usually we do like 2 per year, and we have 2 in the same class. That is the thing that we are going to print for you. And the first one is for making a screen backup recording of our YouTube class at home, which then help us to have a recording for you. If you didn't notice, last week we have issues with the recording, and then we have a backup, and also we have issues with the backup, so we had no video, and then somebody on the internet record the whole class and give it to us, and that's the class you can see online. So thanks to this user, we are giving this award to Frex. Congratulations, Frex. If you are watching us on the internet, you earn it. You have our first given special award for service to the school. And then we have a second one. Because after talking with the team, how we can improve things and starting dropping ideas, we have a user that actually did a pull request to the Stratos Cyberlab, so you can have video recording and live recording plus the document on the class directly on the same screen. So right now, if you go to your Stratos Cyberlab, that is this one, you can see the live recording in the middle, and also you can see the document on the right. And this was very well received, and we are very happy because then you only have 1 screen and not 4 in your computer. And while we were thinking to do this, this user actually did a PR and solved it. So we are giving this award to Frijingi. Like, thank you very much, Frijingi. Thank you very much. Well received. These awards actually are physical things. We are going to send you. We are going to try to send you because I have no idea where you are. So later we are going to ask you if you want to receive something from us. give us your address or some address that we can send in any country, and we will try to send something, okay? So thank you very much for the special prizes. Parish notices. We have a new wiki on the Strato Cyber Lab, so we have many answers and questions there. Go and check how to do things. We have the CTU students assignment documentation, that this is regarding how to, there you go, how to see which assignment that we have, the starting date, the deadline, and the points you have also was required. So now you can check, this is for you. And we have a new frequently asked questions section in the page. So if you have any question, please first check there, okay? So, parish notice, are we ready for this? Something more? I'm missing something? No? Internet recording is going good? We have 7 backups of videos this class, so we will see if we make it, right? I never imagined that recording a video was going to be so hard. So the goal of this class is to know the basic ways of attacking computers and to access them, okay? If you remember, we were scanning computers, scanning ports, and then trying to get to these ports and see what was there. We send emails, we connect to stuff. Now we are going to see for the first time how to access these computers, okay? So in the topics of the class, we are going to start with how you can get into a computer, the types of vulnerabilities, social engineering, then analyzing the attack surface of your target and deciding how to attack, exploiting configuration errors, and then exploiting software vulnerabilities, okay? That's going to be the whole class. So we are a little bit packed, a little bit. So how do you get into a computer? Well, probably the easiest answer is logging in if it's yours, and if you know the password, which is harder and harder every day. Right now it's like logging in, and then putting your face, maybe your finger, oh, and the second factor authentication, oh, and then connecting the key. It's like so many things to log in, right? So it's not easy. But if the computer is not yours, then there are limited ways. And the most common one is what we call a vulnerability. So a vulnerability for us is a weakness that can be exploited by some threat actor, that's attackers, you in this case, such as an attacker, to perform unauthorized actions within a computer system. So everything starts with a weakness. A weakness are many weaknesses, but not all of these ones are converted into vulnerabilities, and not all the vulnerabilities can be exploited, okay? So we are going to go through these ones. So question for you, all of you, internet and here. If you're attacking a computer system, okay, and then you want to get in and you're doing stuff like that. And you're like hours and hours doing different approaches and everything, right? Against whom you are playing the game of attacking? You're a real attacker, right? You're trying to get in a web page or some system. Who is your opponent, to give it a name? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you? It's like the firewall. It's like the antivirus that you need to skip? Is it the updates from Microsoft that you need to be faster? So who are you playing against? The defender who set up the system. Very well, Jan. That is the administrator, the human, not the technology behind. So usually we think that getting access means breaking the firewall, antivirus, protection, jumping, ASLR, memory, something, but it's not true. Every computer system left alone long enough, it's going to be vulnerable. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, I don't care. At some moment, we are going to find out something. So you're actually playing against the humans behind updating, checking, monitoring, doing what you're doing, okay? So human component is critical here. So type of security weaknesses. We are going to go through some of these and practice others. There are many of these ones, okay? Many, from hardware to software to humans, which probably is hardware too. And we are going to see the most important ones. If you want to learn more, about real vulnerabilities, how exploits work, how to exploit new things, how to get into stuff, for us, the best resources are these ones. Yes, we are reading academic papers every day. That's not what you want. If you are reading the reports of some security company, it's not what you want. If you really want to see the meat of the stuff, you need to go to some hacking things, conferences, or hacking zines, in this case, some fun zines. So POC, GTFO, it means proof of concept, or get the fuck out. That means show me how this is working, or don't even publish here. One of the best ones there. Then we have page out, a very nice fun thing that everything you explain has to get in one page. Is awesome. And then, of course, Frag and others, okay? So those are really, really good sources of information on how to learn about this. The official place for searching for those is called the Common Weaknesses Enumeration Project. It's cwe@miter.org. And in there, you will find officially how the community put names and IDs to normal weaknesses. In particular, if you want, you can check the 25 more common weaknesses in every system, and you will find them there. These are not vulnerabilities. This is not buffer overflow in a system. This is weaknesses that led into a buffer overflow later, okay? So, like we were saying before, a weakness may result into a vulnerability. Some vulnerabilities are very generic, and they give a name because affect 1,000 services, and some vulnerabilities are just for that specific company, okay? So some of them, they don't deserve to have a name. And finally, when you have a tool that actually abuse that vulnerability to get access to some system, that we call an exploit. And there are many exploits for the same vulnerability, okay? And there is a huge market nowadays of exploits buying and selling and things like that. So, questions? Is on? Exploits are tools or ways to make it happen. Sometimes it's by hand, but it's weird. It's like, hey, this is the way you exploit it, and some of them you can present it, and some of them is a combination of data. But 99% of the time, it's some type of tool or command or something like that. It's like, yeah, this command and do something. Yeah. Okay? And many vulnerabilities exist, and they're security vulnerabilities, but cannot be exploited because of memory issues or stuff like that. Okay? So, configuration weaknesses. We're going to start with this type of weaknesses. And this is the most common type, people, like by far. And inside the configuration problems, default passwords are still by far the most common problem exploit on the internet. And why is this? Because remember that the security of your organization, the security of your company, the security of whatever you're doing is as high as the easiest to exploit vulnerability you have, right? The famous theory of the lowest hanging fruit. So if you have a very small problem, that's enough for the attacker to get in. I don't care if in the rest of your computers you have anti-super virus detection systems. If in one computer you don't have, that's it. So default passwords are still there. You don't know you have them. They are like in that projector, in the clock, in that projector, maybe in that TV there. And they're there. And it's just the easiest way to get in. So this actually was the first technique used by the first worm ever in the history of humanity, the Morris worm in 1988, and it's still being used today, even by Mirai, okay? So this is a very common technique. So the second one we are going to show as a configuration weakness is called the open web folders. And this is a type of issue where you go to a web page like this one, so you can click in these ones. I'm going to open. And you go and you see something like that. This is a web page of some organization, and they make a mistake, and they left one of the pages open so you can list the files in the web page. And this is unfortunately still common, and you can see the files, and actually you can click on them, and you can see the content, and you can download them, and you can do stuff, right? Like here, have like, I don't know, some PHP, right? So this should not happen. When you click on a PHP, the PHP should be executed and the result given to you, not shown the content, right? So this is a common issue, and when the people is trying to attack you, they go and they analyze the complete attack surface of your organization and company, and they find many things. And in some cases, you can find open web folders. I will show you another one, this one too. This is another one. There are many. I'm just picking up some. Give it a second. Redirecting. Maybe they fix it? Oh my God. That would be something. Okay, let's wait. Give them time to be vulnerable. Don't be like that. And then you can see our own web page. So this is one of the web pages that we have in our project in the Stratosphere Lab. This is on purpose. We have data sets of cybersecurity. So these are pickup captures of real malware and real botnets and real things. And we open them so the people can go and they can download. And we don't want to have a PHP, anything dynamic page. We just want the people to download. So we left it open on purpose. But this is an example of open web, okay? Yeah, this is, wow. Well done, estufmg.br. Well done. So another one I want to show you is this one. This is a web page where you can see very badly that you can actually select the folder and they will show you the whole content of the whole etc folder in their computer. This is bad, okay? This is very, very bad. And you can see stuff like hostname or hosts or whatever, right? So this is a very, very bad configuration. Actually, this organization is open in many ways, and many folders you can go in, like var, and you can see logs, and you can see mails, and you can see many, many things. So this is, unfortunately, again, not uncommon. And yeah, for example, in this one, I'm getting it opt, bit ninja something. And if you click on that, you will see a configuration of Redis, including passwords, right? So everything can be there. And that's just exactly what you need to say, hey, I can test this one, okay? So in the case of open web folders, there can be combinations. So the next one we are going to be showing, and today we also exploit, is called directory traversal. That means that when you are actually, and this was, there was something here. What happened? Oh, it was modified. Wait for me. Okay. So what you can actually do is that you go into some of the folders, in this case, opt, bitninja something, and then, let me see this, opt, bitninja, and then you can do ... right? ... and ... means go back one folder. So this may work. And that means that if you do that, see, it's going back one folder, then you can try to get out of the main directory of the web server. And you can leave the web server area into the computer, okay? We are going to explore this later today also. So directory traversal is another one. I'm going to make a small question timing. The internet? Okay, let's go. Next one. The next one is authentication, authorization, and session management errors. Remember, people, like penetration testing is a huge area, and we cannot cover all of those in this only class. So the idea for you is to know what can happen, which are the options, and then go deep if you need. In here, we are putting together authentication, authorization, and session management. That means in authentications, the problems can be user enumeration. For example, if I go to forgot my password, can I put emails and try to know if those emails were registered or not? If you put an unknown email and the message is that email is not registered, and then I put my email and it says, we send you an email, that means I can enumerate users. And now you have a database of emails and you can check who is in there or not. That is a vulnerability, right? The same with recovery, right? That's authentication issues. Sometimes they don't have timing restrictions. So you can try as many passwords as you want without any delay in time, which means I just can brute force it, no problem. Another vulnerability. Of course, some of them believe that they don't have the issue of password brute forcing. So there are many tools to go to the web or to some system, FTP, and just brute force 1,000 million passwords and get in there, okay? Authentication problems. Authorization problems. Authorization problems means errors that when you log in, they fail to restrict what you can do. And this is very, very hard to defend against. This is a huge software engineering and security behind. This is one example news that says remote working security, thousands of misconfigured Atlassian instances ripe for unauthorized access, and they have an authorization problem. They didn't check correctly. So if you have access to one of these Atlassian instances, you can just get whatever you want, okay? So these are examples of authorizations problem. Another one is called insecure, yes.
Some people is asking about in the BitNinja URL that they have the slash and the dash.
Yes.
And if it's the same as the dot dot, or if it's something else, it has special meaning.
I have no idea. I will guess that is maybe some folder internet, because I'm not sure why in this web page in particular there is a dash dash in there. I would say no, that kind of it's in there, but it's a little bit unknown because I don't know it. Yeah, some things you don't know why they happen. Configurations, right? Versions of tools. Maybe the owner put some dash folder there. I have no idea. So, insecure direct object reference, a very fancy name, a very simple problem. The problem is that you are referencing something like a user ID by an ID, 1, 2, 3, and then, okay, what is stopping me for putting user ID 1, 2, 4 or 1, 2, 2 and start enumerating? So many tools today reference object internally, users and sessions and documents directly, and then you can just point to another one. That's why the majority of the systems online now, they have random IDs, even for this document, right? You can see here, there's a random ID here and another one, so the people cannot just change into a new document. So you have to be very careful that you cannot find out those values in there easily, okay? That is called insecure direct object references. And then session management. So in some systems, if I copy your cookies, I can log in as you. Actually, I don't log in. If I go to a coffee shop, that you are in the same coffee shop, you can do a man-in-the-middle attack. You can receive the traffic from the other user very easily. You get the cookies. You just put those cookies in your session, and you are the other person. You don't need to put the password. The session is a session. So this is also a problem in security, a very well-known one, right? Another one is enumeration of your session as ID. So if you log into a system and it's saying, welcome, Pepito, your session ID is 10, awesome. Who is 9? Who is 1, right? So you can just change, and it will believe, if it's wrongly configured, that you are another user. Against this, the defenders try to program correctly, but we know programmers. So yeah, it's going to be very hard to protect against everything, but that's going to be part of your work. And the last one we are going to be doing here is called sensitive data exposure. That means somehow the data is not protected, like incorrect permissions, maybe incorrect authorization, maybe it was not encrypted. And you say, it's fine, some internal database. And then they steal it, and you appear in the news, and that's it. So that is also a problem called sensitive data exposure, okay? Many companies will learn that they were not encrypting the passwords because somebody get in, stole the passwords, published, and then we saw our passwords without encryption. It's like, yeah, so you were doing it incorrectly the whole time, okay? So, questions? That is going to be the first part of vulnerabilities. The second one are going to be the social engineering vulnerabilities. We are going to go deep into this like in an hour, but very fast. Social engineering is the art of exploiting the human behavior. That means attacking the humans, and we are going to be doing it. So that means that if you are successful, you can access places that you should not be in, or you can make people click on links and infect them, or you can open documents that you should not have to open. That are vulnerabilities in the human level, and they are also very, very important. The next one are probably the most well-known, the software vulnerabilities. So these vulnerabilities are weaknesses in how some program is programmed and allows the attacker to compromise the security in different ways, such as execution of code. So it's a problem that you have in your program and allowing somebody to take advantage, execute, make it crash, or something more. So these are serious ones. The first group is called injection vulnerabilities, and these are probably the most famous one, because it starts with SQL injection, which is a very old technique from the, I will go 90s, where you can manipulate the way the SQL statements are created, and then you can redirect the access to the databases. This is one of the first times that when people created this vulnerability and start exploiting it, I have complete access to your database. And then I can copy it, backup it, delete it, whatever. To this day, this problem still exists in many software, and this is the first time that I feel we move from pressing enter and making something exploit into the art of exploitation. Penetration tester, if you ask any penetration tester, they will tell you that there are no recipes. There are no, oh, I press enter and I run nmap, Nisus, and that's it. There is a component that is artistic, really artistic. It has to be with your intuition, where to attack, how to do, what should I put in here? Is an A? Is a B? That's why we play these challenges and the CTF, because they put you in a position that it's unknown. You don't know what to do. That's on purpose. You have to explore. You have to think. You have to, wait, what if there is a new port in here? What if the port is closed? What if the port has nothing to do and we need to be looking at the file? That is the type of intuition that makes a great penetration tester a great penetration tester. So the first one is called SQL injection. I already told you, very common to modify SQL queries. We are going to be doing this one in the web class. Then command injection. It's a vulnerability where you can actually concatenate your own command to the command that is doing the web server, for example, and then you just concatenate others. And they are not checking exactly how the separation is done, and you can abuse that one, okay? The other one is called cross-site scripting, usually with JavaScript. That means that I can put JavaScript in the computer of another user. So in here, I'm not attacking the web server. I'm using the web server, cross-site. I'm using the site to reach users and execute JavaScript in their computers. If I execute JavaScript in your computer, it's like if I take over your computer. Like everything you do is going to be there, like Gmail, bank accounts. The next one is called cross-site request forgery. And in this one, an attacker forces a user, victim users, to execute unwanted attacker actions on the web where the user is authenticated. That's a mouthful. So this is a situation. You are logging to your bank. I can, if this vulnerability exists, send something to you, victim, that when you click, forces an action in your bank. So imagine that your bank is making a link transfer and a bank account is a parameter. I can put my bank account, I send you the link by email, you click in the email, and then you go to your bank and transfer the money to me. Actually, this vulnerability existed. So this is one very nice vulnerability in the web. Well, it's not man in the middle because I never see this happening. So I'm not in the middle of anything. I'm just putting this to you, and then you do the request that I want. I just don't see that. In the man in the middle, usually you are literally receiving both ends, right? And then you can probably do the same. So XML internal entities, a vulnerability where I can force the processing of external XML and forcing the application to lead data. A very, very hard to defend from. And the last one is going to be server-side request forgery, where an attack forces a server to make an intended request to internal or external resources. Tough one. These are tough ones. We are going to see this in the web class. But the idea here is that I can force the web server to access places it should not access. For example, I can send something to the web server, www.google.com, and force the computer to connect to the internal network. Okay? Things like that. It's another type. These are injection vulnerabilities. Let's jump into insecure management of memory. This means that you are managing the memory with your programs, with pointers, with access to variables, with access to functions, And the way you are dealing with this memory access is insecure because you are not counting exactly the bytes that you put and you read. So the most common ones like buffer overflow, heap overflow, integer overflow, and format strings, these ones are critical, and if I exploit them, I can literally put my code into your program and it's gonna be executed because you didn't check your pointers. Now, in a lot of languages, this is not happening anymore, but in the original languages that are not memory safe, like C, it's very common to have these vulnerabilities. So, very important, and we are gonna be exploiting these ones in a class of itself. Let's jump into another type, and this is called insecure deserialization. And we are going to be doing a small exercise here so we try something. The problem is that sometimes you need to serialize or deserialize data or objects, and that means converting these ones into bytes and bits and transfer them or store them. And if you have stuff that has bits or bytes, it's not easy to store. So you need to transform the data. That is called serialization. And when you read them, it's called deserialization. So you can do this in the wrong way, and then you can be vulnerable. So this one is a little bit hard, so let's try, okay? Everyone, internet and students, go to your Dockers and create a file called server.py, okay? I'm going to do it here, server.py. And once you have this file, server.py, you need to put inside this Python code, okay? I'm going to put it there. There you go, Python code. Import pickle, open a file, read the file, and then the last line is just doing a pickle load. So what does it mean? This means that this Python is gonna read a file, and whatever is into the file is gonna load it with the pickle library. Pickle is the serialization and deserialization official Python library. So you are, imagine that in that file was, I don't know, a string of numbers. When you load it, you have in Python the string of numbers in Python. So this is very useful and very much used, okay? This is gonna be the vulnerable application. This is the vulnerable application. That's a security problem. Now, let's gonna do the attacker. So create the attacker.py. I'm gonna do attacker.py. I'm gonna put the content. There you go. Okay. Okay. And now to use it, let's first use it and then see what's going on. So to use it first, execute the attacker. When you execute the attacker, Python 3 attacker. What do you have a root attacker? What is the root? What did I do? Attack.py is called. Oh, there you go. In my case, attack.py. How is it called here? Oh, attacker. There you go. Yeah, I have a different name. And when you execute the attack, you should have now something called malicious payload.pkl. Okay? Please check that you have a file called like that in your system. And once you have the file, you execute the server. And if the attack is successful, you should see the message of the attacker. In that case, exploit successful. So the question is what does it mean exploit successful? Where is this coming from? Because if you pay attention to the server, the vulnerable one, there are no prints. There is nothing to put any message. So where is the message coming from? We just execute that Python. You can look at the code later, but the key part in the attack is that we are defining a class called malicious, and inside this class, we are defining a method called reduce. That is the official method in Pickle that tells Python how to deserialize this object. And the way we are going to tell how to deserialize this object is to return a call to the operating system system, which is execute a command, and the command is actually operating system command echo exploit successful. So all this class, we are going to take it and we are going to create a pickle. We take the code of this class and we convert into bytes and we put in the file. And that's it. We just write the file to disk. So what's going on here is that this code is vulnerable because it's not checking when it's deserializing the data that whatever is deserialized is correct and it's not abusing the system. The problem with the insecure deserialization. When you are getting information that you didn't create, and even the information you create, you need to be sure what you're executing, okay? So this was a real exploit in a real Python system.
Can we leave some time so they can type?
Yes.
Maybe.
We can leave time for you to type. Like letters or something. I don't know what to type. Questions? Be sure you understand it. If not, you can ask. The internet can ask. Was it nice to execute some attack and that works? Get sure you get it. It's actually very nice because it's small and it's important and it's real. That can happen to your Python application and you can get hacked, okay? Or attacked. Okay. Another one, it's called a race condition. It's going to be the last one. Race condition is when two programs are trying to do something or access some resource, but the only protection is based on timing. I first need to write, and then I will read. And between these two, there is no check or verification condition. So somebody can go between reading and writing, or writing and reading, and change the data. And you believe it's not going to be modified only because you did a line with reading and then a line with writing, okay? So that means that you created a race condition and any other program or attacker can be faster than you, CPU intensive, faster than you, and modify in real time. Sometimes you put something on disk and then you encrypt it. That's a race condition. If I'm fast enough, I can read what you put before you encrypt it. That is bad programming, okay? And stuff that sometimes is not completely taught. So let's jump into the next type that are protocol weaknesses. Protocol weaknesses, now going to man in the middle, the only one we are going to be talking. These are ways of using the protocols, like ARP poisoning, that you can manipulate how the computers communicate to each other. So in ARP poisoning, that I think we are doing later in some other class, I'm not sure, what you are doing is that, if you remember ARP, you're going to be sending an ARP packet telling some computer that you, okay, your MAC is the real MAC of another IP address. When you do that, imagine this computer wants to send information to the router because it's going to the internet. I can convince this computer that I am the router. And this can be done in many ways. In ARP poisoning, I poison your cache, saying, no, 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 I am the router now. And then the computer is going to say, oh, super, awesome, here you go. Here you have my packets. And now I can open your packets and see what you're doing. And I can send to the internet, okay? Very easy, still working technique. The same with ICMP redirect. I can send a message saying, oh no, you just have been redirected to this new router, that it's me, because of issues, okay? The same with multicast DNS takeover, or the one that I told you before, the WPAD Windows proxy auto-discovery. I can tell you, yeah, sure, I am your proxy. And these work very nice up to this day. And that gives you a man in the middle, and you can see the information coming, and then you can send and receive from the internet and send back, okay? Questions? Perfect. These ones are easy. The next one, boring but important, are the policy vulnerabilities. That means because the company says so. For example, no updates are planned for the software. That's it. If you don't have a policy for updating, you are vulnerable. No backups are planned. Passwords are thought to be too weak. I'm not sure if this happened to you, but many times when you go to like very well-known companies on the web, and you try to create an account, and you put a password that is like 25 characters, a lot of them are, no, at maximum 16. Why? You have like hard disk issues? You say, what's the problem, right? And they are reducing the security because of, I don't know, I guess policies. Forcing all protocols or broken encryptions, like using MD5. Please don't do that. If you use MD5, that can be a test for the exam. Oh, use MD5 to do this, and then you're out if you use it. That's straightforward. So, hardware vulnerabilities. These ones are very nice and awesome and very hard to understand, people. Here, we are in a moment that is like, wait, what's going on, right? Like the one called row hammer. So, row hammer is a technique that you put values, electric values, in one of the cells such a way that you are hammering, and that influences by induction the bits and electricity in the other cells. So you can actually do a technique, hardware technique, that induce electricity and change the memory around you, which is crazy, right? Or side channel attacks, ways that the hardware is doing the security checking, but because of the implementations in the chips and the connections, actually you can extract information. We are not going to be doing these ones out of the class, but they are very, very nice ones, okay? We will? I'm so sorry, I forget about that. Oh, you're up for a treat then. So, next one, denial of service. This one is actually straightforward, using any resource you have so much that actually you cannot use it anymore. It doesn't matter what resource it is. It can be software, it can be hardware, it can be humans, right? Very famous are the cases of some conferences, I'm not going to go name, that they organize to go, for example, to the Dunkin' and Donuts, all the conference together at the same moment to ask for something, and it's like, I don't know, 10,000 people, and then that's it. They completely close the shop because they cannot give enough donuts to everybody. So that actually happened many times. So before moving to the next one, I'm going to give some breathing time for you to think what we just said. As a recap, I will say that to get into computers, you need to find the weakness in some part, including the humans, and see if the weakness is a vulnerability that can be exploited, okay? Software, you scan, versions, you exploit, configurations, policy. I'm saying this because many pen testers, initially they believe they just go and exploit some buffer overflow and they get in, and that is actually not every case. The majority of the cases, you have many, many, many more things that are wrong. And right now, if you go to web pages that you usually use, and you pay attention to the security side, you will find many issues and problems. Many. I guarantee you that one, okay? Questions? Internet? Videos? 7 backups? We have recursive backups. No buffering. We have backups of the backups of the backups. Okay? Next topic of the day, second topic, is social engineering. Very nice topic. So, who here can tell me a little bit more about social engineering? So, I said a little bit before, there are something written there. What can you tell me? Who knows what is social engineering?
So you have prizes.
Oh yes, and if you have very nice answers, I have prizes for you. These are homemade, printed by Veronica Domazzi keychains that also can, look at that, hold your phone. What? Pfft. Phone holders that are like have a spring in here. Look, oh, this is awesome. So, best answers, we have prizes. Okay, that's good. I forgot to give you the microphone, so I'm going to rephrase. But for example, calling a call center, right? And tell me again. Calling a call center, then tricking the human. Yeah. Oh, expired document, yeah. Updated, update with this. Perfect. That's actually very precise. That a friend, right, told you, right, about this one, right? Yes, sure. A friend of a friend, just in case for the video. There you go. Yeah. It's a very nice case, and actually it's very, very common. Like, I need to update your something, and the people is very happy that you are updating whatever information they have, Vodafone or any telephone provider, and then I will give you one. You will have to jump the trust to show that you are who you are, but if you do the first steps, then you can update whatever, phone numbers and stuff like that. So, true story, that's one way to looking at that. So, in social engineering, we are saying...
Sorry. We have a nice input from the internet. It says, the art of making someone act, do, or say something you want them to.
Very nice. The art of making somebody say, do something, or act.
Something you want them to.
Something you want them to. The basics of social engineering is manipulation and trust, okay? So we say the art of exploiting aspects of the psychology of human nature, taking advantage of the target, managing to make them something they should not do. The key or the important things about social engineering is that even if you know this, you know the techniques, you know how it works, you study, you do social engineering, you are still vulnerable because it's in the human nature. It's something that is very, very, very hard to protect against. It's not like you are stupid and you didn't realize. You are human, okay? So let's get deep into how social engineering actually works and how they gain that trust, which is critical. If you manage to get trust, that's it, people. You are in. So, really, what is real exploiting? And the first aspect of psychological human nature is authority. If you pretend and if you manage to make them believe that you are an authority, you have gained a very special step in this attack. You pretend to be the authority. Maybe you pretend to be sent by some authority. My boss just sent me, or I'm the secretary of somebody else, or I work for the ministry of something. Of course, if you make them believe that you are police, that's it. It's like nobody says no to police and anything. You can have some fake police identifications that don't say police, you look like, and then that's enough. This is the case, maybe happened to you, that you go to some, I don't know, some festival or concert, and there is people there that they look that they're police, but they're not. They're kind of fake police from the event, but they talk to you like you're police and they give you orders. They have no authority for that. But you believe that because, you know, they look like police and they have some thingy. So that means that you build enough belief about having authority in any way. For this, knowing the lingo, knowing the way they speak is critical. You need to blend in. If I'm trying to give you an order and I'm telling you, yeah, go to the 4th floor, but they don't call it 4th floor, they call it, I don't know, the boat, imagine, and you don't know that, you're out. You need to sound legit. So that means a lot of research to speak exactly and say what you have to say. In a phone, if you know exactly what to say, you can make the people do a lot of things, right? Imagine that really is your boss calling, okay? So that's, or chatting or something like that. So knowing names, positions, event is critical. Yes, interact on behalf of some authority. Fear of authority is like a very strong motivator. Fear is a motivator. So the classical one is like, hey, look, I need you to do this. I'm calling you because I need you to click on that, or I need you to give me this document. If not, you're fired. I speak with your boss right now. It's like, this is on your hands. It can be fake, it can be not. You get fear anyway. When somebody tells you that they're going to be fired, you get some spike in your blood. So this is what you take advantage, the unknown. Maybe they try to chat with the boss, but it's not available. Maybe there is no signal. Maybe you're in the elevator and you need to take a decision and it's 20 seconds, and then you say, you know what, my career is not worth a stupid document. Here, have the document, right? If you are on time and if you are with a little bit of pressure in the correct situation, you can do this physically, no issue. The other is fear of the consequences. Not only maybe you are getting fired, maybe I'm getting fired. And then now we have two situations. Do you want me to get fired? I guess no, right? So you have a human thing in here, and it's like, well, I'm getting fired if you don't help me, right? So authority is a real thing. The second is urgency. also together with fear. Authority is normally linked with urgency, like this needs to happen now. If I give you time to think, it's too late. If you can go back home and think about it, it's too late. Many scams on the street are based on this idea. Many scams, right? Many scams that they call you, maybe not in Czech Republic, but in other countries it's very common. They call you and they, for example, we have very normal situation, unfortunately, called express kidnapping. Express kidnapping is that when they call you and they say, for example, that your son is kidnapped and you send this money here right now or something will happen, but maybe your son is on the cinema, but you don't know, you cannot reach them, and this is like 5 minutes, that is right now, and in the fear, a lot of people send money, and then nothing happened. It was completely fake, okay? But you make them believe that. So, yeah, fire and fire. To be likable, to be credible, this is also a very powerful emotion, right? So you want to be liked, you want to be loved as a target. All of us want to be loved. We are humans. We want to be liked by people. And when people like us, we feel super great, and we smile, and we rest, and we are awesome. So you have some stranger giving you compliments, giving you something, and then automatically you cannot stop it. You feel better. And then that's what you exploit, okay? That's called generating the rapport, right? It's like having a link. We are having something together. Maybe we just met in the elevator, but I saw that you have a key change from the Turtle Ninjas. I love the Turtle Ninjas, right? I'm Michelangelo. And then, oh, so nice. And then we just met in the cafeteria later, but now we are not strangers anymore. So there is a rapport in there. That's very important. Like flirting. Flirting has a lot of social engineering. You're actually trying to do that, to be liked, to like the other, to convince, okay? To have things in common, like the Michelangelo thing. Everybody loves Michelangelo. It's the best one, right? We know. So the next one is reciprocity, another psychological characteristic of humans. Quid pro quo. We want to help those that help us. And then I'm doing something for you, and because you did something for me, I felt compelled, socially compelled to help you. And it's very hard to stop. The classical example is the tailgating. Tailgating is when somebody's opened the door for you, so you go there, and then there is a first door, which is the easiest one, and then you open the door, and there is something behind you, and say, hey, no, please, go first, right? I mean, yes, sure, no problem, yes, go, go, go. And then you go behind, and then there is a second door that you don't have the key. They have the key. And they're gonna chip and open the door, and they're not gonna let you pass. That's bad, right? I just let you pass, right? It's like, that's bad. Like, you feel it, socially you feel it, right? So I'm not sure it's happening at your home. If you go, and there is somebody you don't know, and they want to get behind you, what do? Do you stop them? Yes? Wow, Lucas, don't lie to me. I want a video of this one. And I open and I say, like, stop right here, you pregnant woman with 3 kids. No, it's raining, I know, but stay out there. It's like, so it's hard, and usually you feel bad, and they go through, right? But well done. If you manage to do that, well done. That is reciprocity. Consistency is the next one. Consistency is after the people commit to something, if you manage to make them even verbally say something, they will try to force themselves to do it because they don't want to be liars. They don't want to be seen as breaking their word. So if they say something like, okay, I will try to get the document, they will try to get the document, right? They will not let you down. So that's actually why we invented the oaths. Verbal declarations of some things, because this the people keeping the oath, right, to school and others. Yes, so that's consistency. Social adaptation, one of the most easy ones. Everybody is doing it, so I will do it, and it's fine. What? I need to sign on this paper, or I need to click on this? Yeah, all your friends did it, and look in here, this, and it's like, okay, if everyone is doing it, I guess it's okay. So you feel part of something, okay? Yes, you put yourself as you are a part. Yes, to be cool, stuff like that. The next one, scarcity. Scarcity means, hey, there are small number of things available for you. This is 1 out of 3. This is an opportunity. You get it or you are lost. You need to take a decision now. I'm giving to the next people. And then you feel like, oh my God, I don't have that. I need to have it. It's like, this is how marketing works. This is advertising, right? So the same advertising is using, you can use a social engineering. And to help others is actually very nice. And what I like about helping others is that the best social engineering tactic, it's not when you go and you ask for something, but when you manage to the victim to actually come to you and give something. So they don't even suspect this was a social engineering attack. They are helping you. And actually, after that, they thank you because you are helping them and they feel good, and then they don't know what happened, okay? So that's the best one. So, questions? Pay attention to these ones because we are going to be doing them today. So, internet, no questions?
Some people on the internet says that it's strange many of these techniques are employed by salesmen, especially car salesmen.
That's also very precise, but it's true. It's true, right? Like if you know how to sell, you learn these things. These are how they teach you how to sell. Rapport, I'm summarizing here, but rapport even goes in the physical position, right? The easiest one is that if you see how your mark, target, victim, whatever, is moving or is actually physical standing and copying the other person, gives a small feeling of we are together, equal, we are connected. And this happens automatically if you pay attention to people around you. When two people are kind of synchronized and they're talking, they kind of follow each other, like when they're standing and what they're doing with their hands or whatever. They're not thinking about it, but they are mirroring each other. So actually you can do the opposite and you can force the mirroring to give the other the impression that this is super synchronization, okay? There are many psychological things behind this. Okay, let's keep together. The steps of the social engineering cycle, okay? We are simplifying here, but the first one is research. You need to research. You need to know who the target is, the age, the gender, fears. Fears are awesome if you have them, hard to get. Position, maybe now easier with LinkedIn. Email, name, friends. The more you know, the easiest is going to be, like the easiest, right? You can go to somebody and that you never saw in your life, and because you are calling them by the nickname, can be awesome, right? Like how many times did you saw, even in movies like, oh, I don't know, Chuchi. I said, who are you? How do you know that? They say, oh, yeah, remember the party or the thingy or the New Year. And they say, oh, yes, in the house of Roberto. Yeah, Roberto, right? And even you have the feeling that they have the answers, but you are providing the answers. So knowing this is a very, very important one. Then you have OSINT, open source intelligence. That means Google it. Go and search online what you know, Instagram, TikTok, what they are posting. And we are going to be touching a little bit on this on the class of Maurice about deception, but it's going to be part of that. And my preferred one, that is dumpster diving. That is exactly what it sounds, diving into a dumpster, which means goes and search in the trash of the people, what they are putting in the trash, tickets for a concert and documents, and they like bananas. Maybe too much banana. Like you are like doing this analysis, and it's very, very funny. If you can do dumpster diving, go to some dumpster and try to find what you can about the company, for example. It's awesome. So a lot of information seems very innocuous to people. Yeah, you should try this one. It's like dumpster diving. It's like amazing. Send pictures. But it's crucial to building some roles. So, for example, printed pages inside the company, nobody cares. But those pages can have a lot of information for somebody outside the company. So there are many things around that you don't pay attention, but somebody trying to get in are crucial, right? For example, if I get one of the printed pages in a company, I can know the correct names and nicknames, what to talk about, what's expecting from me, and things like that, okay? After research, you do the planning or the pretexting. That means what's going to be your pretext for addressing the person? You need to think about this. Why I'm talking to you? Did I bump into you? Are you talking in the bathroom? A lot of people talk in the bathroom. Why are we talking? Did I drop something? You look like the cousin of my neighbor or something like that. So there should be a pretext. If not, you are very creepy and they're going to run away. And also you need to think what is the way out. How you're going to get out when they get suspicious or when something happens. You need to have a pretext of getting out. Just don't please run away. And then you engage. That means generating the rapport, talking, what's going on, explaining why you are there, and then generate the trust because we are in the same place, because we are using the same rope, because we're in the same concert or whatever, okay? And then exploration, this is when you really go after the information you want, email, passwords, or phones, and then you exit and you go. Okay? Ready? Here? So, social engineering tips, kind of generic ones. Talk to the people who do not value the information so much. For example, people that is like managing doors, people that is in the receptionist, they don't care. They are not the manager. They're just doing another job. And you go there and you say, sorry, can I see what? And they say, yeah, whatever. I don't care, right? So a lot of people, it's not their jobs to take care of information. Those are very much easier to address. Build the pieces of information one by one. First get an email, then use the email to convince somebody to give you the phone, then use the phone and the email to convince somebody to give you the name, and slowly build. You can call different people, okay? Try to pretend with all you may need in advance, to prepare. Be calm, be confident. I know, it's so that you can turn a button on and off in confidence, but the more confidence, the better. Practice with the small things is like the best way. Do not try to outsmart people that are smarter than you. That's bad. If they know, they're suspicious, that's it, people. Get out. Don't try to be smarter. It's like not a good way. Always have a getaway story. Yes, and making the target feel better after that. Compliments, very, very important technique. Usually pays off a lot, right? Even if after all this you say, hey, good job, right? Like really you saved me. Like, wow. They feel nice, okay? And weird enough, sometimes the best option is just to ask. Right? It's like, can you change my password? Yeah, sure. That's it, right? So that's it. So, social engineering assignment. Are we ready for this one? Ooh, this is for the internet too. So internet, don't get out, don't stop the video, whatever you are looking at. All of you, social engineering assignment. So you have 5 minutes right now, in this moment, to get out of this room. I don't care where you are going, and you need to get the phone number of someone you don't know, or get a selfie with somebody you don't know. Internet, I don't care if you're at home, in the bus, in Malaysia, or in Uruguay. In this moment, think about it, think your technique. Yes, we have 5 minutes plus break, so you have a little bit more. I will give you some minutes to think how you are going to approach this. You're pretexting. Sorry? Yeah, please don't try not to go all of you in a queue to the same people, okay? Like, search different people. If you have a selfie, that's going to be good enough. If you have the phone number, we want to see. So try to get some evidence in there. 5 minutes. If you are ready, you can move people and internet. We want to see some evidence. Good luck, Sebastian. People.
Hold on. Just a second. We will, if you are successful in that, and you will, for CTU students, we will provide 1 extra point for the assignments. Whoever is successful in this assignment, so we need either the selfie or the phone number was the other.
Credits for this.
Make sure you have a proof.
Conquer! Okay, let's continue, people. So, if in the internet you did this, and I hope you did this on the internet, please tell us. We would like to know the story. If you're at home watching the class And you are like, no, I don't have to do that because it's comfortable, it's raining, I'm in the beach or wherever you are. I imagine you in the beach with a coconut for some reason. That's it. Go and practice your social engineering. So congratulations to everybody that took the chance and went there, even if you failed or you didn't. I'm actually very impressed that like most of you were able to get a selfie. What's wrong with people, right? Like, we need to change the assignment, right? Like, if somebody goes to the street to me and say, I can take a picture, I'm running. I'm running very fast, right? So maybe I'm alone in this one. I see that people are very happy to take pictures with strangers. There you go. Very nice suggestion. Let's do it again, only in the street. Thank you very much for the... No. Yeah, we have people in the street, right? So we have at least a new there in the street and somebody else. Only 2 girls did it in the street. Well done. Well done, the rest of you. That's it. I'm impressed. Maybe it's the era of social networking that we have, that it's very common to take selfies and nobody cares anymore. But wow, well done, people. Congratulations. This feeling that you have when you went there and you wanted to talk to somebody and you are, yeah, that's it. That's the one you need to master, right? This is the adrenaline going up and then you say, okay, I need to feel cool and relax on whatever. The best you are at this, the more success you are going to have. So let's jump a little bit into the digital variants of involving social engineering. The first ones you know is phishing. Phishing is social engineering. I'm sending you an email or something that I want you to click or access, and then I want to ask your credentials and make you believe that this is the real site. This is a real case. Spear phishing is a specific variant that instead of phishing 100 people, 200 people, I just point to a specific person. I want the CEO of this company. That's a similar technique, but you need to be very, very, very precise. The best ways are to send from a compromised account of a friend or a coworker. If you do that, you are going to be very successful. Remember the technique we did about sending emails like other persons? That is part of phishing too, okay? And then there is another one called whale phishing or whaling, where actually you go like after very, very, very important people, like very important people, like public known people. And the techniques vary a little. A variation of the digital attack is called the watering hole attack. In the watering hole attack, like the water where the animals go to drink, the idea is that there is a place, a web page, a newspaper that usually the people goes to. So what you do, instead of attacking the person, you attack the watering hole. For example, you know that they like to go to a specific coffee shop, so you can attack that Wi-Fi. Or they like to go to a specific newspaper from a country, so you attack that website, and then you wait for them there, and eventually they will go. That's called the watering hole attack, and it's very hard to realize that you're under attack. Another one is rogue access points, creating access points. Now you can do it from your phone, you can do it with computers, you can do it with many techniques. You just create a Wi-Fi called eduroam, and that's it, right? Many people will want to connect to eduroam. A friend of a friend told me about that one, not that, I know. And then evil twin attacks also, where you copy completely a web page or even access point that looks like Google, looks like Facebook, looks like Instagram, and then you need to be very fast. If you are refreshing Instagram and then pop-ups for you to log in, 90% of us, we just go and log in again. We never check, oh, did the URL change? Why did log in or out? Or what's going on, right? Usually, you are pop-up, and then you just put your password. So that can be enabled to an attack. Or drive-by download. This is like unintentional download of any malicious code. We call it the drive-by download. Like, for example, in malvertising, malvertising is the malicious advertising. So there are advertisings that when you click, you are redirected to a malicious site that is infecting you. Happens not a lot, but often. So not every advertising that you see there is safe too, okay? So let's now do a little bit of practice, handmade practice on the internet and hear about social engineering. And for that, we are going to be using a tool called the SET, the Social Engineering Toolkit. And the Social Engineering Toolkit is a software that helps you do better social engineering attacks and many, many more things, okay? So let's try to make it happen. Go to your Dockers. We are gonna be creating a new Tmax called SET, okay? You can do it in here. I will make this bigger. There you go. Oh, no, this one. There you go. Right, I will create a new set. I will also, we will do it in the same Dockers that you have. Then you need to clone the set toolkit. I already have it here. So set toolkit, I will clone. Please clone, yeah. Yes, I will give you some time for typing in the internet too. You can copy paste the commands to be faster. This should also work on the Strato CyberLab. There you go. Yes, everybody cloned. After cloning, you need to get in the folder. Okay, now you are in the folder. You have a lot of files in there. You downloaded it. After that, we need to install some requirements. If you are having issues with the Strato CyberLab, you will need to add the break system packages. If you are doing this in the CBUT Dockers, it's enough to do the pipe install. This is because Python, the new Python, complains that you're installing libraries and packages outside the virtual environment, but we don't care right now, especially in Strato CyberLab. So be sure you install everything. I will give you some time to type internet. And I need to remember that I wanted to say some message for the internet and motivation. So before we end, maybe at the end, make me remember internet and motivation. Okay, everybody? Now we need to set it up. That is executing the setup.py Python. Of course, don't wait for me. If you just keep typing and do it. I'm just waiting for everybody. That's gonna create things, install, around, distribute stuff in your Docker, okay? And now we need to do a small trick. This is a small hack, because SET is designed to be accessed from the outside and serving web pages and doing attacks, but now you are connecting to a Docker remotely. In the university or on the internet, you are connected to a Docker remotely. So in order to see these web pages, we need to do a small modification. In particular, we are using the sed command. Sed is a streaming editor, which means edits things in streaming input. So sed can read a lot of lines from standard input or lines in a file, and you can edit things automatically, which is awesome. What we are saying here is like, look, sed, do this modification in place. That means get into this file, etc, set toolkit, set something, and now use this expression here that means search for, that's the S, search for something that starts, that's the hat, I think hat, starts with web port 80 and then ends and replace by web port 8000. So this is going to change the port from 80 to 8000 automatically. So if you execute this, automatically you edit a file and you continue. Very useful for scripts, for example. So you don't have to go opening things and changing. The same is in the second line, but now we are going to be changing from some Google domain to your local host in another index template. So run the second one. And the third one is going to do a similar change in another file, in this case in the source template. And the last one is going to do a change directly in the user local share. So I'm sorry, this is a lot of commands. I'm confusing. You don't have to remember this. This is only because of this setup. If you do this at home, that's going to work perfectly, okay? This is only because we are executing this in the Strato Cyberlab or in your own Docker, okay? I will give you time for this to be done. The sets, changing. On Strato Cyberlab. That is not installing. Okay, yes, I will give you some time. Yes. The user local? Okay, so then it's fine. We will see if it works. Because that user local was supposed to be created in the setup, but maybe I mistake the order. So if it later doesn't work, then we can redo it and do it again. All of you have this issue, or some of you? All of you. Perfect. You were not telling me. You were like, yes, yes, everything is fine. So it's fine if some of them did not work. It was actually very hard because you install, and then you try, and then you uninstall, and you're not sure if the uninstallation works. Evidently not. We have different files. And then you do it again, and then you uninstall, and then install. And so sometimes it's hard to reproduce. None of these three work. Okay, so we will see after the execution, and then we can do it again. So if you're ready, you can execute the toolkit. That is the set toolkit. So let's execute that. And maybe what we can do is get out of the toolkit and then try to execute later. So if you execute the toolkit, you should see this. That is the welcome page of the tool. That should work in anyone. Does it work? Yes? Sure, yes? Or you're lying to me, yes? Sure, yes. Okay. So this is a tool that allows you to select different type of attacks. In this case, you have social engineering attacks, penetration testing, fast track, third-party modules, update the social engineering toolkit, update, and then you can configure these ones. We are going to go and use specifically one that is called the social engineering attacks, the number 1, okay? So press 1, enter. Now should allow you to pick, do you want spare phishing attack vectors, website attack vectors, infectious media generation, create a payload, mass mailer, Arduino, oh, they have many. QR code is awesome. You can create fake QR codes, right? Okay, so we are gonna jump into the website attack vectors. That is number 2. So number 2, enter. And now it's okay, which one in the web? Java applet, Metasploit, credential harvester, tab naving, web hacking, multi-attack, HTA, and others. We are going to be choosing credential harvester attack method.
Okay, can you raise your hand if when you try to access a set toolkit, if it worked? Okay, who is having issues still? Okay. So the set commands might not have worked, but then for the internet as well, we just execute the set toolkit, and then Sebastian is going over the options, okay? Because some people is trying to still go over the set commands. There is some delay.
Ah, okay.
And then you're already showing the commands.
Okay. Can we continue? Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to be trying in the set just in case. So once you are there in the, we were in the 3, the harvesting, we need to pick which one. And we are going to be choosing web templates. Number 1, web templates. Okay? After choosing web templates, it's going to ask us which is the IP address for the post that is going to back to the harvester. So the idea is that we are going to be creating a website that is a web attack of a cloning website that is going to harvest credentials. We are going to be stealing users and passwords. And for this to work, you should say that it's going to be in the IP address of your local host, 127.0.0.1. If you remember, this is a special address of your lookback device, your device. It's not outside, it's inside. We need this to be open in your localhost, okay? And after that, it's going to ask us which website do you want to clone. Some Java require Google or Twitter. We are going to go with Google. So you press 2 and you have Google, okay? Now, in your Docker, in the Stratolab, you have a tool that opens a port, and this port is serving a web page. Now, we need from your browser to be able to find this web page, okay? However, your browser, like my browser, is in my computer right now. It's not in the Docker. So how can my computer, that it's not in the Docker, access a web page that it's only in the internal IP address of some Docker? And for that, we are going to be using the magic of SSH tunneling. SSH tunneling, and I can put in here, I forgot. Yes, the problem is the following. We just execute set in your Dockers. In the case of the Strato CyberLab, in this Docker here. Now, set, open the web page, open the port in the lookback interface, 127.0.0.1. That one is not looking out of the computer. You cannot access in the network. You have to be in the same Docker. So how can we access that web page using a browser, because we need a browser, there is no other way to see the HTML, from your local computer? So what we need is to map a port in your computer that when you go to this port with your browser, is going to go through the SSH into the Docker and to the web page. So let me repeat that again. We are going to go from your browser in your computer to access your local host computer, a port, and SSH will take this, put into the SSH tunnel, go to your Docker wherever you are, and then send this to the local host in the remote computer. Okay? We are going to be doing this technique several times during the class, and in another class that we did more, we will explain with more details what's going on behind the scenes. What we want you to know, to understand, is that this is a way for your browser or any program to go to a local port, but actually being connected to the port in a remote computer. Okay? So let's make it happen, and then we see what was not clear. So if you are in CheveUT, you need to execute this from your own computer. Okay? All of these ones, actually. Let me be more clear here. This one. Execute from your own computer, not from inside your Docker. So look at this. Here, I'm inside the Docker. You should not execute it here. You should execute it inside your own computer. Yes. Yeah. This is my own computer. You should execute it from here. In the same way when you do SSH to log into your Dockers. Is it clear? Yes? I'm repeating too much? Okay, let's try then.
If anyone needs help, just raise your hand, right? There is 5 people here that we are willing to help you.
So, ready for this? Yeah.
Is it correct that there is like the flag -p twice?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. This should be the port you have assigned. Yeah. There you go. Thank you very much. So this means use SSH, force SSH to do a tunnel, that is a capital L, and now we are going to be pointing the port 8000 in your computer to the port 8000 that is in that remote Docker that you have. In this case, this is where the Dockers are of the students. And if you are in the Strato Cyber Lab, you are logging in to your own Strato Cyber Lab. Okay? So let's try this one. So in my case, I have my own port. So when you execute it, there you go. You log in to your Docker. Let me do for Cyber Strato Lab and SSH that when you execute, make it bigger for you. Now, if I execute for Strato Cyber Lab, this is my Mac computer. I'm going to connect to the Strato Cyber Lab port 222 because that's where Strato Cyber Lab is. And then I'm going to do the same redirection. The port 8000 in my Mac is going to go to the internal computer port 8000. And here is the password of the Strato Cyber Lab. Okay? Did it work for you, the SSH? Perfect. Let me do it again. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want that one. Yes. So if it works, it means that now you should go with your browser to your localhost port 8000, and you should see the Google login page. Do you? Yes? Hurrah! We have a part of that ready. That is a weird piece of dark magic, let's say. Okay? You can go later and read more about it, but this is how tunnels in SSH can work, and you can redirect connections to one and the other. Now, we are finally accessing the set web page that is the social engineering toolkit saying, oh, sure, I'm Google. Actually, if you don't look at the top URL, this pretty much looks like Google. It's like very hard to realize, okay? Now, we are going to try to log in with something, and then test 1, 2, 3, and we press enter, we sign in, there should be some issue. I will guess that this didn't work correctly. And when you try to see your set, you should see the user and password in your screen. Do you see that? So here you have the email I put and the password I put. If you see that, it means that successfully you harvested credentials of somebody trying to log into a fake Gmail. And it should also work for the Strato Cyber Lab online. I will give some minutes for this to work for everybody. Any errors? Things not working? So you don't see the Gmail. Be sure that your SSH tunnel is correct, and also that your set is open and working. So when you go to the set, you should see, there you go. Thank you. Somebody else? Again? Oh, this tool cannot display check characters. Oh my God. You are safe because of the check language. That's a first. That's a first. Wow. Congratulations then. Maybe you can open a PR to the tool and ask them to fix it, right? Oh, wow. So the reason why you have this error here is because due to the redirection capabilities in the Docker, we are not able to find the real Google and Gmail. But if this works in your computer, forget the Docker, you install this in your computer, that should redirect you to the real Gmail. So what happens is that you receive the login, you put your user and password, you press enter, it fails, and then you ask again. Super common, right? You mistype your password. Happens every day. And then you put it again, and then you log in. Oh, nothing happened. Okay? That is the phishing attack. Okay, for everybody? Was it clear? Phishing attack? Social engineering will be the part where you convince somebody to click on that. And that's it. So, small recapping. Before the recapping, I will give 2 minutes for trying. You maybe want to try another user and password. I will make the time for actually make it happen on the Strato Cyber Lab while you play. Also, yeah, I don't have them here. I don't know why I don't have them here. Oh, I have one. I'm just going to make it in the Strato Cyber Lab, social engineering, website attack, credential harvesting, web templates, 127.0.0.1, and Google. Okay? And now I will get out of this redirection. I will create a new redirection. Yes. Yeah. You sorry again? What do you mean stuck? Do you see this? So when you do the SSH, this one, right? Yeah. This is working or not? Do you have a new connection like this? This is a new connection to your... Okay, so this should work. So what you are doing here is connecting to your local host, port 2222, that's where the Strato Lab is working. And then you put the correct password, and it should be doing the redirection. If you press enter, it's asking for a password. Okay, so maybe you have a different port. Thank you very much. The power of helping. And now, if I do this in my Strato Cyber Lab, there you go. I have the second version that looks the same. I have a password. And then if I go to Strato Cyber Lab, see, for example, in here, I didn't see it in Strato Cyber Lab. It didn't work. So for this, we need to do the set again. So if this happened to you, then in the Strato Cyber Lab, you don't see the credentials. You get out, 99, 99, 99, and then run the sets again. For some reason unknown, sometimes they don't work correctly. So I'm doing the sets again, and then I'm executing the command again. Social engineering, website, credential, web templates, 127.0.0.1, Google, and then I try to see again my Google, something, Nasravi, and for some reason I also don't see it. Okay, let's see if it's only me or later today, all of you. If this is not working in the Strato Cyber Lab, I will check it later and do it. Sorry, internet people. It was working for me before. I'm not sure why it's not working here. Oh, maybe I have the other tunnel? No. Oh, wait, I have some other tunnel. Okay, I have some other tunnel, and let me see now. Now, this one, yeah, there you go. Oh, there you go. So I had 2 tunnels at the same time, so now it's working. So in Strato Cyber Lab should also work. I'm gonna paint it like that. Okay, everybody? Okay, let's continue. So Small recap, social engineering is, according to us, the most powerful attack method that we know of, by far most powerful than any software technique. And as one of the greatest social engineers ever, Kevin Mitnick, if you don't know about Kevin Mitnick, you should go and read. There are some links in there. He used to say that the people usually say the most secure system is the system that is powered off. And he used to say, if a computer is powered down, I would just call them and ask to turn it on. And he was probably right. So social engineering is a very powerful tool. So let's jump into the next topic. After social engineering, we are going to go into exploiting configurations in real system, okay? We have two more topics, exploiting configurations and exploiting software vulnerabilities. So we are, and regarding the password is there, right? Perfect. So we are going to brute force users and passwords in SSH. SSH is the system that you're using to connect to your Dockers and to every class. We are going to try to brute force users and passwords because still this is one of the most critical attacks ever done. That's because people, you won't believe me on this one, I know, but they reuse passwords and the passwords are very simple. What? You are going to ask, who is going to do that, right? None of you are using the same password twice, right? None of you, right? For sure, for sure. And your passwords are usually very complicated, right? More than 30 characters, all the symbols, letters, right? You don't have passwords that you can actually remember, right? That would be very bad, right? Why would you remember the password? That's why you have a password manager, because all of you have password managers, right? So that's why we brute force, because it usually is not happening. The people, it's putting some passwords that are easy to remember and then easy to brute force. So for the people that it's online on the Stratos Cyber Lab, for preparation, you need to start the class number 3. So go to Stratos Cyber Lab, go to class number 3, and please press start on the Docker, okay? Online people, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to start your Dockers. For the students in Cheveute, we need to do a little bit more. Why? Because we are going to be attacking each other. So you are going to be brute forcing real computers of your friends, and your friends are going to be brute forcing your own Docker. Not your personal computer, your Docker. So let's prepare for this, okay? First, let's ask your friends to actually attack you. So please go to your console, find which is your IP address. See, I'm going to get out of set. There you go. Go, find your IP address, and then go to Matrix. You have a channeling matrix called Cheveute Students, and ask your fellow friends to please attack you. Hi, fellow friends. I need your help. This is my IP address. Can you attack me? So be very polite and go there. And also pick some IP address for you to attack, okay? So pick up the IP of a friend to attack. If you are in the if you are in the internet, you already have a Docker started for you, so you don't need to do that. I will let you go and put it. Maybe I can go and check. No, this one. No, this one. Yeah, this one. Cheveute Students. There you go. I want to see you people saying stuff. Hi. Please attack me. Yeah, that's why I'm giving some time. If you are clicking start on your Docker, I know it's going to take some time. It's going to take probably 1 or 2 minutes, so I'm giving you the time. In the meantime, find a friend. I don't see many people putting your IP there. You need an IP, so please go. Put by the command, yes. You find your IP with if config at Ethernet 0. And then when it says inet, you have your IP. Okay? There you go. Pick some IP and be ready. So, now that you have a friend that was good enough to offer their Dockers for you, and you're going to take care of your friend, right? Right? So let's prepare your Docker to be attacked. And for that, we need to create a user that they can brute force. And we need to put a name, and we need to put a password. But our friends don't need to know the user of the password. That's where the brute forcing part appears. So we are going to do a small magic. We are going to create a file called users. That's going to be used by nmap during the brute forcing. So please create a file called users and put that content in. Okay? Users, there you go. And then you put some content. Those are going to be the users that nmap is going to try. And then create another file called pass, and let's put some of the most common passwords ever. Okay, so there you go. I'm creating this with you. Try to be sure that there are no empty lines at the bottom. Okay? If for some reason you don't know how to edit a file or put the content, you have emergency files in data. Not in the Stratos Cyberlab, because I expect you to be able to create a file. Remember, for the people online, you don't need to do this creation of the user, but you do need to create these files, okay? So let me put it here. Online 2, because you will need the files to brute forcing, okay? We are using the files for two purposes: to create the user, that's Chebeute only, and to brute force, that's both. So now that you have your files, let's actually pick a random user. And to pick a random user, don't get this in the wrong way, but I don't trust you. So we're going to be using a script. This script is this one here, is doing the following, okay? It's doing taking head, n amount of lines, so taking the n amount of first lines, the exact amount of first lines is going to be decided by this script of the file users. So go to the file users and print the n amount of first lines, and then just keep the last one. So by varying this number, we are picking different random lines. How does magic work? If you remember from the last class, $sign parentheses is a command substitution in bash. If you do $sign parentheses parentheses twice, now you can actually make mathematical computations inside this and be replaced outside. So what we're going to be doing is using a special variable in bash called random. This is a special variable created by bash that is a variable that has random values. So if you print that random variable, it's going to print random numbers. We are going to be doing modulus operandum 10, which means we are going to have at maximum up to value 10, and then we are going to be doing +1, which means instead of going from 0 to 9, from 1 to 10. We are actually picking random numbers between 1 and 10, okay? So if you execute this line, you should see different users, see? Every time it's picking a random different one, okay? So that's how you're going to pick your username. Now that you have your username, let's create a username. And we create a username with a user add command. So go to your Dockers and do user add, and then the name of the user that was picked by your random selection. I will choose soft. Now we have a user in your system called soft, in my case. Now we are going to be doing the same head command, but for picking the passwords. So look at this, see? Random selection of passwords. Okay? And now we will use the password command for actually changing the password of my soft user. And now it's going to be, oh, give me the new password. And I will put, repeat, and you don't know which one. Ah, so smart, huh? Now, all of you in Cheveute should have a new username, different names, and new passwords, okay? On the internet, you don't need to do this because you are going to be brute forcing a Docker in your network that already has a user and password, okay? I will give you a minute to do this, to know if you have any question. True story, but if you try, accepts them. So just keep typing and press enter, and they're going to take it. Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much, Andro. The question is that the system is telling you that the password is too short or too simple, and looks like it's not allowing you, but if you keep typing and press enter and confirming, it will take it. It's just a warning, which is very bad, right? You can stop me. It's fine. But yeah, they don't have it. Okay, everybody? You have your user and passwords. And now we are going to be doing something very weird and crazy and dangerous. That is, after creating a user with a simple password, we are going to go for a break. That's bad. So we are going to take a break. Before going on a break, I just remember that we finally can meet Ondra. Hey! He's very healthy, so thank you. He's real. He's real. Yeah. So we have a break for 10 minutes, people, and see you back, okay? So go, rest, get a drink. Internet, we are back in 10 minutes. So now that you create your user and now that you create your password, we are ready to finally attack others and be attacked by others. So what we are going to be doing is using nmap and using a script in nmap to actually brute force the SSH password, okay? So if you are in CTU, let's start first by scanning your friend only. If you are on the Strato Cyber Lab, it's only you there, so you are fine if you want to scan the whole range, okay? If you don't know the range of IPs in your Strato Cyber Lab, remember it's your IP with a mask of 24 bits, that's this range. The same you can do in Cheveute later, but not at the beginning because we are too many and it's going to be messy. So the command is nmap, sync scan, version scanning, port 22, then the IP here, vverbose, do not scan DNS, do not resolve DNS, and the script is going to be SSH brute. Now, for the first time, we are introducing arguments to the script. So the arguments for the script is going to be the database of users, that's userdb, comma, the database of passwords, and then we are just saying, hey, brute first only true, so the first user and password you find, just stop. If not, it's going to continue. 10 users is for a toy example. Usually you have several millions, so you don't want to be continuing. Well, maybe you do want, I don't know. There is a parameter here that we are not putting, that is how much you wait and how much you are aggressive. So if sometimes you do not find user and passwords, and you know it should work, be mindful, maybe you have to slow down a little bit the brute forcing, okay? And open, because if you're putting a range, then you're gonna find a lot of ports that are not what you want. So let's try this one. I'm gonna go to my Docker. I'm gonna go to my list of friends. I'm gonna take one, like this one, and I'm gonna change in my script, and then I'm gonna press enter, and then you see that nmap is loading some scripts for scanning, and then doing rping, and then scanning one port, is opening the port 22, finding port 22 as open, and then is trying user and passwords, see? And you can see, like mine, admin, pepe, pa, and then it's trying combinations, and at the end, it's telling you, hey, for the accounts, I have valid credentials. The credentials are soft and Tor, okay? So that is a successful ending for brute forcing credentials on a system. So please be sure that here and on the internet, this is working for you. I'm gonna do the same in my Strato Cyber Lab. There you go. I'm gonna stop you because I don't need you anymore. And then I'm gonna be, if you have issues with the width and the lines in the Strato Cyber Lab, it's because, the web page not always can respect the size of the command. So I'm gonna be doing, wait for me. For some reason, I don't have my set.ov. There you go. I need to make it smaller only a little bit. And now I'm gonna scan the whole network. So you see, there you go. Ooh, that was hard. And whoa, and maybe it was fast. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I don't have the users file in my Strato Cyber Lab. So while I'm doing this, I will leave you time for making in your Dockers. So how are you people? Could you do it, everybody? Yes? Perfect. Let me rerun in here. This is the Strato Cyber Lab, and now it's trying users and passwords in some IP address, in this case, IP address 90, okay? So everybody, could you crack? Congratulations! This is your second and third attack of the day. Brute forcing, a critical and nice tool. And of course, you can brute force everything that is asking for a password, from MySQL to MongoDB to Redis to a web page to whatever you want, okay? You just need the correct tool. So I'm going to continue. Now we are going to be doing attacks. Now that you have user and password, people, you can log in. So let's log in. Log in to your friend. Get into that computer. So I'm going to go to my friend here. That is the IP address 043 with the same user that I have now. And, sorry, the user is going to be soft. Remember, I was trying to get the access of the user soft. So you have to put soft at something. And then it's going to be the password. Do you want to connect? Yes. Anybody knows what is this? This, hey, the authenticity of the host cannot be established. The key fingerprint, the key is not known by any other names. Are you sure you want to continue? Who can tell us? Fingerprint on this laptop. What is a fingerprint? Very close. There is a fingerprint, but it's not a biometric fingerprint. But thank you very much. So, who else? What is that fingerprint? is the fingerprint of the server you are connecting to. So it's actually the hash of one of the keys used, and what it's telling you is like, hey, the server is trying to tell you that this is the server. If you don't know the server, maybe you should not be connecting. If you know the server because you call or you something, then you say, yeah, I know, it's good. So you press yes, and that's it. And then I put the password that is stored. So there you go. You have your ring. I have only one more, people. So now you are inside the computer. Look, I'm in the computer of somebody else. You too. So what do you do, people? Attack. I want to know. I want to hear stories. You are in a computer that you don't own. What do you do? Enumerate? Show me. Look around. How? Tell me how. Okay. Yes. No. In a Docker that is not mine. This is my victims. Okay, show me. Do it and show me what you got. Do it something. What do you do? You are in a computer that you are attacking. Are you after something? What are the priorities? Checking files, checking flags. Maybe the user has some flags for you. I don't know. Maybe it's going to have flags in the future. And actually, I'm going to get out. If I am in my Docker, how do I know that somebody is attacking me? So, question, how do I know who is connected to my computer? Why similar? Yeah, but why similar? What is telling you if there are other MAC addresses? There can be other MAC addresses of other computers. Doesn't mean that they are in my computer. Yeah. Yes. Tell me. Yeah. Yeah. Those are computers in the network. It doesn't mean that they are inside my computer. So if you ping some computer, you will also with the MAC there. How do you know that there are humans or computers or tools logged in my computer right now? I don't know how. So processes, wait. Processes. And what do you say? Last? And what do I do now? I have the list. So we have 3 still logged in, and 1 is me root, and you have 2 soft. That's good, right? There you go. Whee! Don't let him steal it to you. A simple one is the W command. The W command should tell you who is logged in that moment. Unfortunately, in the Dockers, these ones, for reasons of the bar log, it's not gonna show. I'm not sure if in the Strato Cyberlab. Yeah, no. But the last is gonna be for you the best option. The last command is gonna tell you which are the last logged ins and if they are still logged in. So now we have 4 computers, 4 users in my computer, 3 friends. Huh? How do you kick them off? Good question. How do you kick them off? So to kick them off, first you identify which terminal was assigned. This is the PTS terminal. So imagine I want to kick this user, PTS1, and you can search for processes like Jan was saying, and in the processes you will actually see bash sys, bash shells. One here, another one here, another one here, and actually 4th one here. And some of these are going to be assigned to different terminals. So in the terminal I was searching for, it was PTS2, it was this one, right? Then we have that one here. So what you can do is get this process, imagine this one, and you can just kill it. Kill process -9, that process name. And that will kill it. Now, the user lost the bash in the system. Does it mean that it's not going to attack me again? It can. Why? Because I still have the same user and password. So we are going to be going into defense in the next class, but pay attention when you are trying to defend, okay? So if you want to see what's going on, we are talking about W, last, processes, and actually you can leave stuff like in, for example, files or whatever. So I'm going to check if somebody let me a message. Oh, look at that. I have a message. Oh, thank you very much, Fan Thomas. And there are many things you can do. So you are in a computer that does not belong to you. So let me see if somebody left a message to my message. So it's not here, so I'm going to leave a message for you, whoever computer I'm in. So I'm attacking here, okay? So, good for everybody? Were you able to attack correctly?
So one person on the internet says defend and change the password.
Defend and change the password. Yes, you can delete the user too, and many more things. We are going to be looking at next class in the defense that these solutions are not enough. You need to do more than this, but that's a good start, okay? So,
I want to say another thing related to this is that when you go into a system and then you change things, remember when Sebastian started the class and he asked, who are we playing against, right? And most of you say the human behind. So every time you change something, you should assume that the user behind the defending one will notice a change. If you delete the user, someone will say, hey, this user is not there anymore, and then you're busted, right? So depending if you are attacking or defending, how much you are willing to change and get spotted because of your changes.
Okay, everybody? So, let's gonna end this exercise. To end the exercise, we need to remember to delete the user, because please do not leave a user with a simple password in your Dockers that are open to the internet. Nazdravi. So, for that, you need to do del user, and then the user you create before. In this case, del user soft, and that's it. Please delete your user so nobody else is connecting with that one. So, in the meantime, while you delete your users, I'm going to give the password of the class for the people online, the password of the day if you want to have the certificate for this class. The whole one, it's going to be chiropractic. Chiropractic. Let me do that again. And yes, it has a typo. And yes, it was not intended. And yes, it was an LLM making the typo. Chiropractic. Okay? That's it. That's your password for today. So, as a recap, we are going to say configuration weaknesses and policy weaknesses are very common. We just exploited a configuration and a policy weakness, which is leaving a user with a simple password, and that can be exploited by many tools, okay? Let's jump into the last part of the class. And this one is software vulnerabilities. What are software vulnerabilities? Well, we already saw that before, some bugs and errors in programs that we want to find and to exploit. But how do we find them? Well, there are two main ways. One is that if there are past vulnerabilities, if you know the version of the service, SSH 2.321, Apache 1.2.8, or MySQL 10 point whatever, if you know the version, then the best is to go online. You go to Google, DuckDuckGo, or whatever, and you search vulnerabilities in OpenSSH 841, or some example, right? There you go. So you go and you find and say, oh, I just found an SSH for something. Is it vulnerable? oh, look, actually, yes, we have vulnerabilities. So you go there, and you read, and you find the vulnerabilities they have, what happened, when did they happen, if they are high or low, and what do you need to exploit them, okay? So how do you find? The first one is searching the versions. For example, you can Google bash vulnerabilities, okay? Bash vulnerabilities, yeah, there are many vulnerabilities in here. And you can go and see what they have in there, what they don't have. So in the process of penetration testing, at some moment in time, you're going to find computers, ports, versions. You can brute force them. You can attack the configurations. But also, now, we are going to find known bugs in those versions. So you go and you search. Some of them are going to be very easy. Some are going to be very hard to exploit, okay? The second one, the second way of finding vulnerabilities is actually testing yourself. Because remember what we said before, some vulnerabilities are so generic that they have a number and they have a name. Some vulnerabilities have a web page for them. In other ones, when you go and test the web page of this factory in this organization, you may find vulnerabilities that are unique to them, and nobody else is going to have them again. So for this, you need to go and to try. We are going to have a web class, exploiting class, binary class, to actually see by hand how to do that, okay? Questions? Now? Perfect. Now that we know how to find them, we need to actually go and do it. So what we need to find, what we need you to find, and you in the internet to find, is computers in your network that has the port 80 open, okay? Port 80 open. So please go and find in your networks the computers that have the port 80 open. The same for you, internet. I'm not going to tell you how. Yes, you need to find ports 80 open in your Docker network. You get to be used to this, people. Next time you go to a coffee shop, you connect to Wi-Fi, not even check email, boom, nmap. What's around you? Who is alive? I'm not joking, this is the best way. This is not illegal, it's not unethical, it's the best. Any network you go, who is here? Okay, we have 20 computers, 3 iPhone, 4 Macs, 3 cash registers, Visa, whatever. Okay, let's see what you have around. If you find something, you can tell them, hey, hi, coffee shop, I think that you have your cash register connected to the Wi-Fi. That's bad, so please solve it. And yes, they do that. Or you have I don't know, a video camera recorder connected to the Wi-Fi. So you can help them be better. So did you find something? In this command that I'm doing, I'm searching for the whole network, 192.20.0 for port 80, and I'm also storing the information with OA, which means output all, in a file called boolscan. So if you do boolscan, now we have the nmap, the XML, and the gmap, and you can go and see what's in here. In mine, I didn't find anything. So hosts are up, but no port is open. If you are on the internet, on Stratos Cyberlab, let me see this. I'm going to try in the Stratos Cyberlab. In the Stratos Cyberlab, you should see at least 3 computers that are doing this. You should see 01, you should see 03, and you should see 095 if you are doing this on the internet Stratos Cyberlab. And then you see open ports and the port 80 and what they are doing, okay? And what's going to be happening in this one is that also we are enabling the version scanning, and we are also enabling the script scanning. So it's going to be running the default scripts, normal scripts, what usually are not to infect anything, it's just to find normal things, okay? And in case you didn't check before, we are saying that all the usage of the scripts are in this webpage of nmap, so you can go and check those, okay? That's why it usually takes longer, so I'm gonna go to my Strato Cyber Lab, and you should see that 6 hosts are up, and in the case of Strato Cyber Lab, we have port 80, and the scripts were able to find the Apache version 2449, and then server headers, HTTP methods, and others, okay? And this is one computer, this is another computer, I'm scrolling up, wow, a lot of information. So 03 has a lot of information there, okay? And I think we have one more. I'm scrolling up in the Strato Lab, Strato Cyber Lab. Is the computer, wait for me, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, 01, okay? So, in case you saw this in nmap, I'm not sure if it happened to you, sometimes you have like, oh, one service unrecognized despite returning data. If you know the service version, please submit. So, with this, if you know the version, you can send this to that web page, and you can help make nmap better, because in the next time they will recognize this service, okay? So you can help more and more.
Yeah, so in when you're running on the for CTU students, where when you're running the nmap, you don't see nothing. Did anyone see an Apache server? Okay, so you are the lucky ones, because right now we are like 70 people scanning the network, and some of us, there is a lot of packet loss on the Docker network. So that means that the rest of us, we didn't get to scan the port and the services. That's why we don't see anything. But the service is up.
Can we try the IP directly?
Yeah, the IP is working. It's on the document. It's
okay.
The same IP.
Let me see. So let's try directly the IP address. That is this one, right? 095. So let's try to scan only that one instead of the whole network. And maybe I will also say -T2, so it's not too aggressive. And I will press D to make it show me the bug. We'll see. So discover one open port. So please, if you could not open the port, find the port, do it again with directly the IP address. This shows you, as a very real example, how fragile are the port scans. Remember, this is not your official how we should use the internet. We are breaking some boundaries here, which means the services are not supposed to do that, so many things can go wrong. I was telling you in the first class that sometimes you go to an organization and you should not scan everything all the time massively, because computers can go down. They're not used to that, okay? So just when this happens to you, you should pay attention. Okay, are the computer up? You go back in time. Okay, first check, is the computer up? Yes or no? You have like 6 server methods. Now, is the port open, only one packet? Yes or no? If I scan, can I run? Okay, so you go one by one. Don't just say, hey, it's not working, I have no idea. This is the hacking part. So I found one port open 80 and Apache 2449 and other things, okay? So you should see this. After, I'm gonna go up, after finding it, we actually have some information, Apache 2449. So let's find vulnerabilities. Go to Google, the internet, and tell me, did you find vulnerabilities? There are many, right? Remember, you're going to be needing to do this many times, including the exam, so please get comfortable. Go in and finding vulnerabilities. Many times it will happen that we just have a number of a version, and we are not going to tell you which vulnerability. You're going to go and find, and you're going to have to try 2, 3, 4, 5 until one works, okay? So get used to this one. So Apache, there are many vulnerabilities. For example, here it's talking about the path traversal and remote code execution one, CVE 2021-41773. The internet is slow for some reason. And this one, actually, we can see in the common vulnerabilities and exposures too, another way to find. And if there is a vulnerability, find if there is an exploit. So for example, in this website here, they not only are talking about the specific vulnerability, but they are actually showing some code. So let me, for some reasons, my internet is broken. I'm afraid for the recording, but we will see. I don't know. Looks like it's working. Do you have internet, people? Yes? Okay. Lucky you. So you can see the GitHub here, and you should see the information about how to exploit this vulnerability, okay? And you have other sites like ExploitDB and more. Everyone here? Let's continue with the first Apache file traversal vulnerability and remote code execution. So, what is this vulnerability? What is the Apache vulnerabilities 2021-41773? So, this is how it works. When you have a web server and you have a website, usually, most commonly, you have, for example, test.com, folder1, myfile.html. So what's happening here is that the web server, by default, tries to map each of these ones that are in the web path into real directories in the hard disk. So they should be usually a mapping between your hard disk and whatever the web server is putting in that URL, okay? That means that folder1 is not only a name in that URL, maybe it's a real name in the directory structure. And the same with the files, like my file usually is a real file in the hard disk. So if this is possible, if you can go to test.com and then folder1 my file, what's stopping you for actually doing, oh, folder1 ... /etc/passwd. What is the ... here? So I ran out of prices. Oh. Okay, what is the ... here? A folder above the parent folder, right? In any directory structure that you are, there is a special name for one called dot and for one called ... and the ... is linked to the parent, okay? So that means go to, oh, thank you. Go to, oh, Lukashi. Oh, almost. So you are saying, go to folder1, and then go to the parent. I don't know what the parent is. Actually, I don't care. Then go to the parent. I don't know what the parent is. I don't care. Go to the parent. If I go enough back, I'm going to reach the root. I'm going to read the origin, the first directory in the system. And then I go up. Go to etc, go to passwd. What is in etc passwd? What's there? They used to be passwords, not anymore, and now actually you can check in your computer, right? You can do cat at least the users. So if you do a cat of this file in your Docker, you will see all the users in your system, if they can log in or not log in, and which ones actually can log in, right? So you have at least half the information you need for the brute forcing, which is the username. So what is stopping you for doing this in google.com? What's stopping you for doing this in any web page? Well, something called the input parser. In every web server, there is something called the input parser, and this parser checks whatever it's going in, and then says, let me see, ... No, we don't allow ... here. This is forbidden, you're out. So somebody has to check. The problem is that there is a vulnerability in Apache 2.4.49 where the input parser, unfortunately, has a problem and allows the encoding version of the ... character to go through. So instead of putting ... you can put %2e, which is the percentage encoding version of the ... and then you can do %2e, %2e, and the input parser is saying, do you have any ... here? No, it's fine, you can go. And then you go inside Apache, translate this back into ... goes to the file system, and then you go back, okay? Truth be told, it was correct before, and there was somebody fixing something and putting the vulnerability. So it's also possible to do another attack that we are going to be doing later. So let's try, people. How do you do that? First, we are going to be using curl to access this web page that you know already has an Apache. We are going to be using the silent mode, so I don't want things printed in my screen. And we are going to be using path as is, which means do not modify the characters I'm sending you. I'm going to be sending characters, do not encode them, because web browsers like Curl don't like this, and they tend to encode stuff. And then we are going to take the output, and we are going to be using the T command. T command, it's a command that splits, you know, like a T, splits the output in your screen and in a file. So you can see something and at the same time store that in a file. So if you execute this command, like that, you should see it works. So please confirm that you see it works. That means I can access the main page, okay, and I see it working. And I'm going to also save this in a file called main page, okay? Now we have the version of how it looks like when the page exists. We did that to check how it looks like a page that really exists, which is the root one. Now, do the same with a completely unknown page, like blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, okay, how does it look when the page does not exist? We are trying like in a logic, okay? And then, when it doesn't exist, it says not found, okay? Everybody? We are trying to find if the vulnerability exists or not. Our goal is to realize if the server is vulnerable or not. After having a version that works for the main page, and after having a version that does not work for the blah, 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 we are going to ask for the folder /icons. /icons we are asking because it's a default folder in Apache, and usually it's there, unless they delete it. So we need to know how does it look when we try to access something that we know is there, but we don't have permissions. And the answer is forbidden. Okay? Main page, I'm allowed, it works. Unknown, not found, a forbidden one says forbidden. Now, we are going to be trying to access the icons folder and do the trick with the ... to get out, okay? So that means curl icons ... and then we are going to see the results and store with T in a page called icons page. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to give you 1 minute for you to do it. Please do, type, I'm giving you time. Do not just believe me. A very easy way to check if the main page, it works, and the icons ... are the same, are actually to compare these two output files we created. You can do that by hand. Imagine that very large web pages are very hard. So we have the main page, file created by the it works, and the icon page. If you use the command diff, it should tell you there is no diff. There is no difference between these two. That confirms that the main page and the icons page are actually the same. Okay? Now, for the first time, let's try the encoding. This is the same as before, but we are going to be putting %2e. So again, let's try the curl, and you should see it works. Now, no need to diff anymore. That is a confirmation that when you put the percentage encoding, actually it's working. That Apache now is confirmed to be vulnerable, okay? Now that we have this confirmation, let's use it. Let's attack people. So how do we attack? Okay, look at this one. We do the same as before, but after doing the icons, we do ... and etc pass.wd. So now we can access remotely in this computer the file pass.wd. Ta-da! Magic, hacking. So what happened here is you connect to a remote computer that you do not control, that is not yours, and you are attacking a vulnerability, in this case a path traversal, and you are forcing the web server to go inside its directories and get a file for you that you should not have access. That is a real case of attack with a real vulnerability in real life. And yes, there are still Apaches vulnerable to this on the internet. Okay? This is inside our network. This is a real thing.
We have a good question on the internet. Why is not the first dot in the URL encoded?
I have no idea, internet. I think it depends on the input parser. And I'm not sure actually if it works without it. I'm not sure. Percentage to... Yeah. So in some Apaches, it does not work. So I think that depends on the implementation, but I'm not sure. I cannot say why this one in particular was putting the dot in there. Yeah. But yes, if you put both percentages, it should work. Questions? I know you are like too amazed by hacking into a computer and you cannot speak. I will give you time for breathing. Okay, so now that you actually have access, I want to give you some time, some minutes. What would you access, people? Now you have, for the second time in the day, access to a remote computer that is not yours. This one, you cannot do a lot of things. You can only access files if you know the name. So what are you accessing? I'm going to give you some minutes. Try. Show me what can you access in that remote computer. What's in there, hackers? Hackers be hackers. Yeah. Okay, which one? Show me. What do I type? Ah, okay, go find it, go find it. Okay, I like it, go try and tell me what you can see. Because you have to imagine, right? Where is it? How is the name? Maybe you search online. Show? You can ask ChatGPT, of course. You have it in your Stratos Cyberlab. I see a lot of people not typing. Did you know already? Ah, they're thinking. Sorry. I will let you think. I will let you think what you do. My bad. I mean, they are thinking a lot. All right. Oh, no. Damn.
If you do something that you think is cool, you can share it on the chat so we can all see the files that you access, right? And you can also talk to your to the person next to you and have some ideas. Maybe if you don't have any idea, your fellow student has. Talking is allowed.
Talking? What do you mean talking? Like socializing? Ugh. So? I see the hacking people. These are the thinking department. These are doing. Come on, come on. We need to train your intuition. We need to train your hacking capabilities. What do you ask for? Get into the attacker mode. Get into the, oh, I want everything. I will, yeah. Okay, and how would you do that? Sorry, if you ask for some files, you can? I don't understand. You can? Execute, yes. Execution, but that's another vulnerability. We do that later. Now is accessing files without execution. So the exercise is, what can you, as an attacker, imagine? So there are stuff there. There are things. There is a limitation. You can only read files. Get into the role. What are you reading? This is like for attackers, straightforward. They know how they go, where they go, what do they want. Users, passwords, files, cryptocurrency, whatever. Go and get it, right? You are in this position right now. Oh, look, it's talking to you in lead. Own and profit from the blue bag. I guess it's bag. And it's, I'm not sharing section. Yeah. And it's translated it to me. That's so nice. Successfully exploit and profit from the vulnerability. That's good. It's even teaching me how to speak hacker. There you go. I will. Yo, own and profit from the blog. Whatever. Thank you, LLM. Okay, let's continue. Anyone? What did you see? Private keys. And how I do that? And where are the private keys in Windows? Well done. So in this case would be root. Imagine if you want the root user, or if not, home something, but you don't know the names of the users. Well, actually you do, because of the ATC pass WD, you have the names of the users of the system, right? And actually from here, you know if some of them actually have a home folder that is this one. So root has a home folder, daemon no, Bing no, sysgame no login. So the rest of the users do not exist. So in this case, it's going to be only root, and then would be .ssh, and usually it depends. It's something like ID priv or something like that, or how is the other one? No, I'm missing something. RSA, IDS. RSA dot pub or nothing. Oh, okay, yeah, the pub. So that will be the public one. I don't have permission to the driver source. So the only way of knowing is like, okay, what about that, right? One way of knowing what to ask is actually in your same Docker. It's probably one way to find what's in there. So you say, okay, what files do I have? Okay, I have these files. Or what files do I have in my etc? Okay, etc, I don't know, time zone. So you go and say, what about etc time zone? Is it there? So you find etc time zone. And it's not found, so it's not there. What about etc hosts? Hosts. Oh, it's there, right? So you find out from the knowledge of the computer, because you know if it's Linux, Windows, something, what are you searching for, what is the information, and then you can even brute force. You do a script with all the usernames, and you can go one by one, okay? So this is up to you as hackers in this. Now, after this vulnerability, we are going to exploit the last one, that is remote command execution, RCE. And that is a variation of this one with the following twist, okay? So follow me here. This one happens because when the module called mod_cgi in Apache is enabled, so in Apache, I'm not sure if you ever install an Apache web server, you can enable or disable a lot of modules. There is a module called mod_cgi. When this is enabled, it means the following. Any file in the web page that has the handler in the URL CGI for the CGI script, which is usually CGI bin, will be treated as a CGI script and run by the server with its output being returned to the client. So that means if mod_cgi is enabled, Apache will treat any URL that says CGI bin not as a web page to show me, but as a script to run and show me the output. Got the difference? Okay? This is the first time in the 80s or something, 90s, that we tried to put dynamic web pages to not to be static the whole time. So we wanted to actually execute something, not only show. So this is a very common way. That means that if in your URL you put CGI bin, Apache will not show you the content, but it will execute. And what can we execute? Well, whatever we want. In that case, we can go to bin sh, and we can actually execute a shell, which is super nice. Now, what's going to happen is that to this shell, we need to give some data, because yes, we can execute the shell, but we couldn't put any command. I just don't want to execute the shell. I want to execute the shell and then give my command like ls, ps, okay? So how do they give data to this shell? And the answer is with a post request. So far, when we were doing this is a get request. Curl, or zurl if you are Czech, it's doing a get request. Now we need to convert this into a post request. The same rules apply for the URL, but we want to put data with our command. So this is the whole thing, okay? So I will go slowly here. This is the whole command. The command is curl, silent, do not modify the URL, please. Now, send data, -d, send data. That automatically converts this into a post request. And what data are we sending? This is the data we are sending. echo, semicolon, ls-al. That is a specific bash command that is taking echo as a command that is going to be consumed. Then semicolon is the separation of commands in bash. If you go to your own bash right now, you can do ls, semicolon, ps, and both are being executed. So the semicolon is a concatenation of commands. So here we are concatenating a stupid command like echo doing nothing with the real command that we want. We want to list files, okay? And what are we doing with this? The same as before. We are using the vulnerability to actually execute the bin shell. And this is executed because instead of icons, we put CGI bin to force Apache to execute, okay? So let's try. Did you try already? There you go. Woohoo! Look at that, hackers. We were able to execute the ls, oh, that's a long one. Okay, to execute ls-al in a remote computer by doing a combination of two exploits, the path traversal and the remote code execution. And now, hey, it's in your hands. Now you have another thing, that is, before you could only read files, now you can execute any command you want. What do you execute, people? Let's go. You have some minutes. I will give you 3-4 minutes. Get creative. Now we have more. Now you can search what you were telling me before. Where is the stuff? You can, I don't know, list passwords. You can create users. Can you create users? Can you change passwords of users? Can you execute backdoors? Can you create Python files? Can you execute Python files? You can do whatever you want. The question is, can you? What's going on with the thinking department there that I don't see typing people? Attacking and deleting and exfiltrating data to ransom gangs in South America. Ah, they're sleeping. The ransomware gangs are sleeping right now. Okay, good.
We have a question from the internet. Why the echo in the command?
Why the echo? Again, it has to be how the exact vulnerability is done inside Apache, but what's happening here is that you're executing a bash, and there is a consumption that the Apache is sending to this process. So in that moment that this is executed, you need to have something that is going to be consumed and then concatenate with yours. Technically speaking, it's actually also a concatenation attack of commands. Yeah, and it depends how the vulnerability is implemented. Some vulnerabilities with remote command execution, you just need the semicolon and that's it. In others, you need to figure it out what you need to give. The same with SQL injection. Sometimes you need to figure it out what to put to make it work, okay?
Another question or comment from the internet. Can you use this remote code execution to get a reverse shell?
Can you get this command execution to get a remote shell? Yes, you can. The question is, can you? But yes, it's possible. You can execute something there that will remain as a backdoor remote shell. Yes. So I'm gonna take my fellow fuckers, pounds, force, leaf, half, I don't know. I'm sorry, I cannot read that.
Can we edit this video?
Sorry. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, explain to me. Oh, it translates to, you are the best hackers for life. You guys are awesome. Pounds for leaf, hacksaw rules. Leaf. Sorry, I need to speak hacker more. It's like, yeah. Okay, so tell me, what did you do? Anybody wants to share? Remote commands? What was possible? What was not possible? Oh, that's nice. Okay, let me see what. What is it? Cat, TMP, message. Oh, look, get hug bitches. And it's a plural of bitches, right? Bitches, yeah. Well done, well done. So yes, you can do many, and you have commands, right? So what about processes, right? Processes. I don't know. There you go. You have processes. What about, I don't know, users in the home folder, right? Home. It's like, oh, there are none. Maybe I can do it like that. Right? There are none. What about, I don't know, logs in the bar log? Yeah, you have some logs. You can check logs. So there are many possibilities. And when you have access to the computer, we will see later that actually you have to hurry up a little bit because the probability that you're going to be detected is high, right? So usually you have to be prepared, which means a lot of practice. Imagine a situation that you are time-bound and you need to find something very fast, like an exam, right? So you need to practice a lot and then got in. Okay, so we are going to finish already. We have the assignments. Ready?
Thank you. Well, first of all, for the assignment from the last week, are there any questions, problems? If there are, you can always, chat us privately in those. Like you all have groups with all of us teachers, so don't be afraid. We had some issue that with the packet analysis challenge that started yesterday, but it should be fixed now. So if you did the first TCP dump yesterday or today, you might have experienced some problems, but now it should be working, so you can try again if you already haven't solved it. And this week we have a fun one as well. I hope the last week was also fun. So basically it's again two-parter. First one is you will get an IP address in the CTFD tonight when the challenge opens, and you will have to find some services and do something there. It will be very clear once you start interacting with the IP address and the service. And there will be one question and one flag. And you have to correctly answer the question in order to unlock the challenge where you have to submit the flag. So be careful there since the attempts are limited. But it's a very easy question, so you shouldn't have any problems there, hopefully. And the second part is, again, something like we've been doing today. You will also get another IP address, and you will have to find a service that has a vulnerability, and you will have to exploit it. You will have to figure out what's the vulnerability there and then to Google a bit to find some ways to exploit it, yeah, basically. So very straightforward, I think, but yeah, if you have any questions, please let us know or ask now about previous assignments or this one. And yeah, also, as Sebastian showed you at the beginning of the lecture, in the web page now you have a very nice table with the deadlines for the assignments, so check them out. I think the first assignment, which was the 1.1, the simplest one ends October 31st, and the next 4 ones, so up to challenge 5, they end on November 7th, yes, and the rest will end, I think, before the last lecture. So, yeah, just pay attention to that if you don't do challenges immediately. So, thank you.
But asking. So something more for the internet people. 2 things. First is there is a new challenge in the Strato Cyber Lab for everyone online, and you can also play with that. That is related to this class. So if you pull from the Strato Cyber Lab, you will have it. And also for everyone online, I know this is hard. Having 3 hours of video every week for a lot of you is very hard. Just know that it's worth your effort, okay? It's good if you give yourself this time at home, at work, and you make it to look at the videos and make the class. So we encourage you to keep going and doing the class, okay? And remember the feedback, people. Thank you very much. Feedback is good. Give us feedback. We like it. And see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I feel and saying goodbye.